Hello. So I've been thinking about the pieces that I make, and I've been thinking about the aesthetic. And one word that always comes back to me is thoughtful. So I don't mean that in a kind of a gifting way, and I don't mean that in one person to another. And I don't mean that in a kind of environmental ethos or anything like that, that you would associate the word thoughtful with clothing. The word applies because when you wear a piece of my clothing, you really do have to think about it. That might frighten some people. It might make people wary of buying or wearing the pieces that I make. But obviously, because the pieces are so versatile, both in size and in drape and the way that they tie with the belting or the straps or anything else, you really do have to think about how you're going to wear it and how you're going to style it on yourself. So sometimes I think that worries people sometimes, because we live in a culture of high street brands with designs that you don't have to think about at all. And this is really evident when you walk into a high street store in a shopping centre or on the high street. The stores will have complete outfits on mannequins, which is fine, because it's showing what you could wear with different pieces, and it has a kind of essence of styling, even though obviously it's corporate. But it all gears us towards not thinking about what we're wearing and not thinking about how we're styling it on our bodies. And that has kind of resulted in people not even thinking about what suits them, what suits their skin tone, their hair color, their eye color, their body shape, their height. We've been kind of funneled down this road of seeing a complete outfit and thinking, yeah, that'll do. That's how I want to look. That's how I want to appear. And it's there ready made. It does grind on me a little bit when I see high street brands promoting, this is your look. This is for you, your individuality. This is your vibe, that kind of thing. Because everyone is different. We all have a million different influences that have been kind of locked in there in our library of imagery that manifest into our own self-image. And I really think that that's where this kind of conservatism and this generic feeling comes from. That people see these things and see these celebrities who do endorsements, or they'll endorse a range and call it their range or whatever. And we see these people and maybe we admire them or we like them for one reason or another. And we're kind of driven towards it, rather than going into the library of our mind of all those little influences that have built up over the years and actually developing that into our own sense of style. That is my thing. I make original artisan one-off pieces that I hope will strike a chord in someone, and they will feel that that piece of clothing will accentuate, bring out, emphasize their individuality. It's not about me. It's not about one particular aesthetic. I think I'd be quite horrified if somebody was wearing one of my one-off artisan pieces and somebody came up and said, oh, that's a Burbo. Because I want to be constantly evolving and constantly changing. I do repeat pieces, and I do repeat certain elements of designs into different pieces, but more often than not, it's a hybrid of the design pieces that I've developed over the years. And that really should be what our personal style is. All those elements, all those ideas, all those images, all those things you thought, oh, I like that, I like that, I like that, all come together to create your image, to create your look. I've been creating some new pieces with these beautiful matte satins, which you can see here. Now this is a dark teal. It's got a kind of vintage orient type of print. Now this is a true hybrid of many of the design elements that I use in some of my pieces. It's got some beautiful drape and fold there. It's got a kimono sleeve on this side, and then on this side is like a poncho sleeve. So those two elements really shouldn't work together, but they do. And then the belting, there's one belt on the hip and one on the shoulder, which comes from my broken mirror design. And then I've put multiple drapes and folds into the design so that it looks really good, either fitted and on as is, or off the shoulder. You can wear it anywhere you like. Now this is where the thoughtful process comes in, because what I always say to people is when they come and try something on, obviously it's much easier when I'm styling them and they're here and I can show them different ways to wear. But obviously when they buy online, I always try to offer a FaceTime appointment to show people items, but obviously some people don't like to do that, or they don't have time or whatever. But that's really something that I would advise with my pieces, so that I can actually show you face to face, as it were, how to style them. So I'm going to style up this piece in different ways, and what I would say to people is when you put it on and tie it the way, or style it the way that it looks in the picture, but then leave it on for half an hour or so. You will find that my pieces find their place on your body. They will they'll maybe drape, or they'll fall, or they'll loosen, or you can tighten them, or whatever else, and they'll find their place on your physique, as it were. So as you can see, this just sits on the body as a tunic dress, and it just sits there. The way that it folds and gathers actually goes into a V shape on the neck, and that's quite a kind of stable dress shape. And then we take the belting from the side there, which is just on the hip, across to the shoulder strap, and we tie it there. That will enable you to wear it as tightly or as loosely as you feel comfortable, and then it completely changes the shape of all the drapery in the dress, because obviously you're getting a flatter shape here, and then the drape is on this side, rather than all the drapery on this side. So you've pulled it in there across from the waist up to the shoulder and tied it there, give it a little knot. That brings it in obviously more fitted on the body there, but then you've still got all this beautiful drapery at the front. The kimono sleeve will give you a bit of swish, And then you've got the poncho sleeve on this side, which has got double folds and everything in there, but then that comes out like a poncho. Obviously this also, the neckline is quite wide, so you can actually wear it just off the shoulder as well, which gives it a whole other kind of boho vibe. Or even on the other side. So then you've got an extended kimono sleeve there. This also works tied at the back, again across the body, but on the back rather than the front. That gives you all the drape at the back. There's multiple drapes. So doing that at the back actually shortens it at the front. It also shortens the kimono sleeve and brings it out at a slight angle, and then it gives you a kind of flatness across the front there, almost like a lip over the dress, and then all the drapery down there. And it gives it a completely different look. At the time of recording this video, that is still available at the website and the Etsy store. It's called the Jasmina dress in this beautiful matte satin, and that would suit anyone from a size 8 or 10, which the mannequin is. It's a size 8, up to even a size 24, 28. It truly is a one size piece. I hope you've enjoyed that and got a more of a feeling of why I make my clothes and why I make them the way that I do. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much. It really does mean the world to me. Please subscribe, please share, please comment, and I'll see you soon.